So this is it. Nothing. Literally just dirt, heat, and a whole lot of nothing in every direction. This ground is insane, Ed. It's like touching a skillet left on a stove for 2 hours straight. We're in the Mojave Desert around 1905. The railroad just reached here, and there is genuinely nothing else. The temperature here in summer hits 45 degrees Celsius. People actually chose to stop here. That was the decision someone made. Even the animals here look like they've just accepted the situation. This lizard has more composure than I do right now. The San Pedro, Los Angeles, and Salt Lake Railroad just arrived, which sounds impressive until you realize the train stop is basically just this. The railroad needed a watering stop between Salt Lake and Los Angeles. The whole valley exists because trains needed a drink of water. Just this spike, this is what started the whole thing. A water stop with a name, Las Vegas. Spanish for the meadows, because there used to be actual meadows here. There are actual underground springs here. That's why the Paiute people had been living in this valley for centuries before any railroad showed up. The valley was called Las Vegas by Spanish explorers in 1829 because of those springs, the meadows. In May 1905, the railroad auctioned off 1,200 lots of land in a single day. In the desert. The entire auction made over $265,000 in one afternoon. For empty desert, someone looked at this and thought, yes, I need a piece of this dirt. Within weeks of the auction, Fremont Street already had saloons, a hardware store, and a hotel. The speed was genuinely impressive. Fremont Street in 1905 looked exactly like every frontier town you've ever seen in a movie. Unpaved, wooden, dusty, no charm whatsoever. Nevada had outlawed gambling in 1910, so the first version of Las Vegas was actually not the wild gambling city everyone imagines. It was just a dry, hot railroad town.
And that dry railroad town stayed pretty small and unremarkable for the next 25 years. Then someone decided to build a dam.
In 1931, construction started on Hoover Dam, which meant thousands of workers needed somewhere to live, eat, and spend money. This project brought 21,000 workers to the Nevada desert. And the same year construction started, Nevada made gambling legal again. The dam workers needed somewhere to go on weekends. Las Vegas, but 48 kilometers away, was the closest town with bars. This is 1931 Fremont Street. Gambling is legal again, and you can immediately feel the energy shifting. Every block has a bar or a card table or both. This is what legal gambling looked like in 1931. Card tables, a bar, questionable lighting, very unglamorous, very honest about what it was. Downtown casinos in the 1930s had a house edge that would make you cry, and the drinks were barely cold. But after a week of blasting canyon walls, guys apparently didn't care. By 1935, Hoover Dam was finished. The workers left. But the gambling licenses were already issued. This empty road heading south out of town Talva, this is the highway to Los Angeles. In 1941, it's still basically just a dirt track through the desert. Someone looked at this exact stretch of empty desert road and decided to build a luxury resort here. Not downtown, not near water, right here in the open Mojave. The Strip doesn't exist yet. This is 1941, and there is absolutely nothing here. I just want you to feel the scale of how absurd what's about to happen really is. El Rancho Vegas opened April 3, 1941, the very first resort on what would become the Strip, right here, in the middle of nothing. The concept was a dude ranch resort hound because someone looked at the Nevada desert and thought, what this needs is a Western cowboy hotel with gambling. So this lobby has a mounted cow skull, exposed wood beams, and a casino in the next room. That combination should not work, but apparently it absolutely did. Speaking from the very first second of the clip, El Rancho had a pool, a casino, a showroom, and bungalow rooms spread across the property. Guests could stay overnight, sleep here, come back the next day. The whole idea of destination gambling, staying for the experience, not just walking indo, starts right here. This pool in the Nevada desert heat in the 1940s must have felt like the most extraordinary luxury imaginable. The water's actually cool. Out there, it's pushing 40. In here, there's a pool and an air-conditioned casino. That gap is what sold every person who ever drove this road. Slot machines in the 1940s were fully mechanical. Pull the iron handle, the reels spin, coins come out. No screens, no digital sounds, just metal on metal. This thing weighs probably 30 kilos. You can feel every gear turning when you pull this handle. There's something satisfying about that. It doesn't feel rigged, even though it absolutely is. Card tables are where the real money moves. And the house rules here were set by the owners however they felt like it. Gaming regulations in 1941 were basically suggestions. The Nevada Gaming Control Board didn't even exist yet. It was created in 1955. Before that, pretty much anyone with enough cash could open a casino and set their own rules. Across the road, nothing. The next resort won't open until 1942, and then things start escalating very, very fast. This quiet moment does not last long. This road is officially US Route 91. In 1941, it's just dirt and wooden poles. The name Las Vegas Strip doesn't even exist yet. I'm looking at what will eventually become one of the most photographed stretches of road on the planet, and right now a roadrunner could cross it without seeing a single car. The Last Frontier opens in 1942, Paul, literally 1 year after El Rancho. Same road, same concept, but bigger. The competition starts immediately. The Last Frontier marketed itself as the West's most Western casino. They had a Western theme, a steakhouse, even old wagon wheels.
2 resorts, 2 miles from downtown. The desert between them and the city still completely empty.
This is where the Flamingo will go, 1946. And this one is different. Wow, this isn't a cowboy theme or a dude ranch. This one is supposed to look like Miami.
The Flamingo cost $6 million to build in 1946. That number alone tells you something is fundamentally different about this project. The construction went massively over budget because Siegel kept changing the plans mid-build. Some materials were removed from the site.
This building looks like it teleported from a Miami Beach resort. Against the brown desert around it, the effect is genuinely surreal. It's like someone dropped it here from another planet. The quality of the plaster here is completely different from everything else on this road. Someone cared a lot about how this looked.
The Flamingo opened December 26, 1946. First night, disaster. Terrible weather. Most celebrities who said they'd come didn't. Walking in here from the desert is like changing TV channels. 5 seconds ago, scrub brush and cracked dirt. Now, terrazzo floors and a chandelier.
Recessed ceiling lights in 1946 were genuinely luxurious. Most buildings still had exposed bulbs on a wire. Whoever spec'd this interior was trying very hard to signal something.
The casino floor here has a roulette table. That detail mattered. Roulette was considered a high-class European game.
This table says, we want people who dress up to come here, not just dam workers spending a paycheck. That shift in target audience changed.
The Flamingo had a dedicated showroom, not just a corner stage behind the bar, no, an actual purpose-built performance space.
Dinner, drinks, a show, then gambling piaffe, all under one roof. The integrated. Siegel was killed in June 1947. He never got to Fern. He never got to see the Flamingo succeed.
This pool area is the most aggressively not desert thing I've seen since arriving. Pink chairs. The water in this pool has to be hauled in, treated, and constantly maintained in desert heat. This pool is an act of sheer defiance against the environment it's sitting in.
45 degrees out there. Cool water in here. Tropical plants, a jazz piano inside. This place is selling the fantasy.
Standing back on this road, I can see both El Rancho and the Flamingo from here. 3 resorts. Miles of empty land between them and downtown. Another plot marked out, and another one beyond that. The 1950s haven't started yet, and already this road is being staked out in every direction. The land rush is happening. People talk about organized crime building Las Vegas. That's partly true, Ted, but they built what the market wanted. The customers were in. Between the resorts, there are these tiny regular businesses here. Diners, auto repair, a small motel with 6 rooms.
Coffee 5 cents, pie 10 cents. This diner is for the workers who built the resorts, not the guests staying in them.
Black workers who built and staffed the casinos weren't allowed inside them as guests until the 1960s. The performers who headlined the West Side neighborhood just north of downtown DeKalb was where black residents and workers lived, completely separate from the strip economy they were building. I keep thinking about how 2 completely parallel worlds operated on this exact stretch of road. The glamour, the brochure.
Right. The 1950s are starting. Nuclear testing begins at Yucca Flat, 90 kilometers from here. And instead of evacuating people, Las Vegas marketed it as an attraction.
Rooftop atomic bomb viewing parties. Hotels marketed their northwest-facing rooms as having the best view of the mushroom clouds.
By 1955, there are 9 resorts on this road. Every year, another one opens. Every new one slightly bigger, slightly more elaborate. The road is paved now. That's not a small thing, the Te. Asphalt meant cars could actually drive comfortably here, not just grip. Look at both sides' yards. There are resorts on both sides of the road now. This is no longer a handful of buildings in the desert. Neon signs are hand-bent glass tubes filled with noble gases. Each letter is individually shaped by a craftsman over a flame. This is just a glass tube right now. By the end of the week, it'll be a letter on a sign 20 meters tall.
In daylight, these signs are impressive just from their scale. At night, they would be visible for kilometers across the flat desert.
Dusk here, about to get very interesting. These signs aren't on yet, Al, it's still light. But as soon as the sun clears that ridge there, this road is gonna look completely different.
There it is, the signs are coming on, one by one. And the whole visual logic of Las Vegas at night, it's all about this exact moment. Standing here at night in 1955 with all these signs on her, this is overwhelming. It looks like nothing else on earth. Look at how people dress to come here. Suits, evening dresses, hats. This isn't a dive bar, it is 50s. A 1950s American car on a neon-lit desert road heading into a resort. This image became the shorthand. Before I keep going a sap, if you're watching this far in, do me a favor and drop a comment. What part surprised you most about how this actually started? The Desert Inn changes the scale again. This one has an actual golf course.
In the desert.
They have grass, soil, and water.
Here, irrigated, lush green grass. Half a meter that way, dead desert.
The grass, desert, grass, desert. Same clun, same sun, same soil underneath. The only difference is the one.
I'm looking at this from half a kilometer away and I can already read 6 different signs. Every operator keeps building taller to be seen over the competition. There's still a working horse cart on the same road as luxury resort automobiles. This is the actual 1950s strip. The Las Vegas Convention Center opens in 1959. That's the moment this city decides it's not just a gambling destination. The Sahara opens in 1952. Moorish architectural theme that arches, decorative tile. This tile work is genuinely well made. It's not a cardboard set tile, actual ceramic tile, actual craftsmanship. The themed resorts weren't cheap. The logic of themed architecture here is that you arrive somewhere, not just a building, an experience.
I'm at the north end of the strip looking south. 1955. What I'm seeing is maybe 8 kilometers of...
And there it is, the line where Las Vegas stops and the desert starts again. No transition, no suburb, just buildings, then nothing. 1 foot in Las Vegas, 1 foot in the Mojave Desert. This is still the most honest image of what this city actually is. Western Ranch, Art Deco, modern, Moorish, all within a 3-kilometer stretch. What's wild is that the performers treated Vegas as a side gig at first, a profitable detour. Then the money got so good that Vegas residents...
From the very first second of the clip, I keep coming back to the Flamingo. This is where the visual grammar of the modern resort was established. Everything else on this road is a response to what this building figured out first.
Speaking from the very first second of the clip, south of the Flamingo in 1955 is mostly open desert again. The expansion went north.
The Mojave in the late afternoon cow, even now, with all these buildings pulling, it's still a remarkable environment. The light, every evening on this road follows the same sequence. Light fails, neon rises. The desert darkness that... From empty desert to this terror in about 50 years, 1905 to 1955, that's one human lifetime. People assume this city was built by one genius idea. It wasn't. It was built by a water stop, a dam project. There's something strange about standing here in 1955, knowing how this road grows. Every building I can see tonight will be demolished. The Flamingo is demolished in 1993. El Rancho burns down in 1960. The last frontier becomes... The city literally has a policy of controlled demolition as urban planning. The newer the building, the more valuable the land. 20 meters from the neon wall, complete darkness. That's still the Mojave out there. The whole city is essentially a very elaborate, The thing this city understands better than any other place is contrast. Hot and cold, desert and pool, dark and neon. I started today on empty, cracked desert ground in 1905, a water stop for trains. And I'm ending it here with neon. There's a version of this story where the railroad goes a different route, the dam gets built somewhere else, and nobody puts a resort on this particular road.
What I want to know from you, which part hit different? The water stop origin, the atomic bomb tourism, the fact that the Flamingo almost immediately closed?